driving. Just on my way to work. And this is what I like to do on the way to work sometimes. I apologize for the spotty audio and the spotty video ahead of time. But just want to let you all know that I was live and you show up. That's cool. I appreciate it. So this morning, what was on my mind this morning? I like to do some posts on my Discord about mental health, and sometimes this stuff is on my mind. When I wake up in the morning, that's usually when I get my creative juices flowing. That's when I talk. That's kind of like when my inner dialogue starts. Like, there's always something that will come through my mind in the morning time that I might be able to convey. As most of you know, I've been off of, well, some of you know that I was off of work for 2 days because I was out because of having a cold, thinking that I might have had some COVID symptoms or whatever. But it ended up not happening, which is good. I'm always happy when I don't have to worry about getting COVID. I've already had it before, but just as a safety precaution, decided to stay home because I don't want to give anybody else the stuff. So I've been talking a lot about taking each step, it's taking each day as it comes, and taking small steps. I think that sometimes we have a tendency to worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. I think that a lot of times that we worry about what's going to happen tomorrow so much that it hinders what we're actually doing in the moment. And I think that what really matters is those steps in between the goals that we have, in order to get where we need to be. I feel like in this day and age that a lot of times people want to skip the steps in between, and it usually, when you skip the steps in between, or you want to try to rush something, it'll put you somewhere that you're not ready to be in that moment. And I believe that when you embrace the process, when you embrace the steps that are having to be made in order to get to the destination where you need to be, and you do it humbly, and you examine yourself and you take an inventory of where you're at and what you're doing in the process, what that does is that it allows you to get where you need to be, and it'll get you to where you're at a certain kind of skill level. So when you get to where you need to be and you start reaching your goals, that you're able to operate in excellence. I think that a lot of times people, they just assume that if they go to school long enough, or if they study a subject long enough, and they get like a general knowledge of things, that they feel like as if they're masters of their own kind of destiny. And I believe that is a huge, that will kill your motivation. Because when you start thinking in your own mind that you're better than what you actually are, and then you start to try to put that into practice, and you're not really good at it, what'll end up happening is that you'll definitely feel like a fish out of water. I mean, I think that we've heard that statement before, like a fish out of water. A fish out of water is usually someone, well, if you look at a fish out of water, they're out of their own natural environment. And then the thing that they need to sustain themselves is no longer there. So, they're fighting to survive, to get back to where they can get back to just being able to exist at a level where they're not just trying to survive. I feel like that a lot of times we get stuck in loops where we're just in survival mode. And I believe that we need to focus on whatever we feel like our inner calling is. Like, and I like to translate that inner calling into something that is like, well, not something that is like, but something that is, in what I believe in my tradition is God. It's like the voice of God. It tells you what the next step are, what your purpose is, what the plan is for your life. And it's kind of way, like, a lot of people believe in predestination, like there's already a set course for them, and if you don't follow that specific course, that you're not in the right zone. And I don't believe in that. I believe that we may have, by making certain decisions, what will end up happening is that our course will be charted for us. So, I believe that we have to really analyze what our decision making is and where it will take us. And that means taking an inventory. Just being aware of what our decisions might do for us, affecting our next steps in the future. I kind of find myself in this reflective state like every morning, because when I wake up in the morning, I'm by myself. The house is quiet. There's not a whole lot going on, and it's the perfect time to be able to hear clearly, what's going on in the mind, and to be able to take an inventory, like what I was saying, like to get a nice sound inventory of what's going on in my life that I can improve. What are the things that I can capitalize on that I'm doing good at, and then what are some of the things that I can improve my life on. And a lot of times, like, people assume that you reach a certain destination and that's as far as you go. I believe that sometimes that destination is never really there. It's kind of like the apple that's leading the horse, or if you look at like a dog race, it's that felt rabbit that they chase after. Like, you're never gonna really truly arrive at that destination. I think that it's a moving target. But the moving target, what it does is it keeps you in a path of constant improvement. Like, you're going somewhere. Even though it feels like you're going nowhere and you're not really attaining the goal that you're setting yourself after to get, that rabbit is kind of like a guide, or that apple dangling in front of you. It's the motivation to keep on going, and it also sets the pace. I believe that a lot of times that people, they lose track of where they need to go and what kind of pace that they need to set for themselves. And when you have those two things happening at once, it kills dreams. And I've been talking a lot about not allowing critics and haters to slow you down and distract you, and where you need to be going, or where you feel like you need, what your calling is. Like, don't let anything stop you from achieving the goals that you are trying to go after. Whether it be criticism, or abuse, or anything else. Because the one thing about being different is that you're taking steps that people normally would never take. It's really easy to stay safe. It's really easy to find comfort in a routine. It's really easy to a predetermined destination. You know, this is what you're going to do. You're going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is how you're going to end up. And you can't deviate from that. And if you do, you're taking a risk. And if you're taking a risk, that eventually it might mean that you're losing something. And if you live a life like that, without any risk, without taking an initiative, without saying, you know what, I'm tired of this mundane reality. Like, I need to do something much different with my life. I need to make decisions that will bring me forward. When you start making decisions like that on a daily, and you start having an inner dialogue, when you start talking to yourself about what you need to do and where your standards are at and how you're not going to break them, when you tell yourself that you're not going to listen to the haters, when you're not going to allow certain obstacles or people or spiritual things, you're not going to allow those things to get in your way to slow down your progress. Because the one thing that we have coming against us that we can all agree on is that we have time. Time is the thing that is constantly reminding us that if we don't, that we have a certain amount of time. Our time here on the planet is finite, and we have goals and aspirations and dreams and an impact that we would like to make on the planet, and in our own little way, in our own situation, within our own families, within our workplace. We want to be able to get to a place where we have an expected end, and we know kind of where we're going, you know. And I believe that we have 100% control over that. I know that there's extenuating circumstances that may make things a little bit more difficult, but I also know that time is running out in the process. So we can either decide to reside in a place where we are always thinking about our limitations and what might be the thing that is holding us back, or we can choose to not worry about the limitations, not worry about what other people think and some of the things that we may decide to do, and just go ahead and be us. You know, I'm not going to allow what a critic might say about how I might represent myself, about how I might present certain things. I'm not going to allow critics to get in the way of what, you know, of what my destination is, or my destiny is, you know, like destiny, destination, you know, goals, the end. Like, I'm not going to allow setbacks or failures or critics get so much involved in my life that it's actually affecting it. Because you get to a certain point, you start to realize that the life that you're living doesn't just affect that one person in you. You know, like, you are not in your own little world. As much as we like to convince ourselves that we are, we're really not. We're not in our own heads. We're not in our own worlds. We are not, you know, stuck, you know, in our own head. Like, that's the biggest trick of the enemy, is to get us to believe that the only people that we affect in our lives is our own selves. And it's just not true. People are watching us and want to see how we're going to react. And there's people who look up to each one of us. As much as people want to have a negative opinion about themselves, as much as they think that just absolutely cannot be true, they don't understand that there are definitely people out there that are watching what we do and they mimic it and everything else. So we have to be mindful of our decision making once again. You know, I I think I find myself talking in loops a little bit, but that's okay because I'm not really getting too much feedback. So I feel like that if I'm bringing the point home and I'm kind of driving a little bit, that, you know, that's the thing that needs to be heard. So, you know, just don't allow negative people and negative attitudes and things that are coming on a lower vibration level affect what is going on in your life. Because you have a decision to make. Everybody has a decision to make. We have to decide what we're going to embrace and what we're going to allow to fall to the wayside. Sometimes we have to forgive. And we have to forgive things that could be really, really tough to forgive. Because we've all been done wrong. We've all had crazy stuff happen to us by people who really thought they were right and they were just terribly in the wrong. And when you have to walk in forgiveness and let go of bitterness and wrath and rage and everything else, it requires us to be humble in where we are. We're not giving somebody what we think that they deserve, but we're allowing them to go through a process so they can actually learn and gain something of value and be different than the way that they were acting towards you or us. When you end up walking in grace and humility, it speaks a lot more to a person's heart. Because, you know, everybody has a dark side and a light side. That's the duality of man. We all have it. We all possess it. There's no getting away from it. But we can learn how to control those thoughts and emotions and negativity that may try to dominate our existence. So, you know, it's up to us. That's why you hear a lot of people say, you know, well, you should meditate, you should pray, you should, you know, gain wisdom and knowledge. You know, I like to personally read Proverbs and Psalms out of the Bible because it's a tremendous help. I also like to read the Beatitudes, the Sermon on the Mount that Jesus gave, because there's certain things in there that have principles that are eternal and that I believe are definitely universal in their application. So that's what I do. I try to model my life after the standards that have already been set. It doesn't mean that I need to be dogmatic in my views. It doesn't mean that I have to be something that is stereotypical and something that may not fully represent who I am as a person or how I know how to behave to begin with. I believe a lot of people have that twisted. In no way do I believe that I am any better than anybody else. I believe that people have to learn. They have to also go through a process to get where they need to be, and where they are at is exactly where they need to be in the moment. And the only person who can really change that is the individual and God, because God gives, I believe that everybody gets their own free will. Everybody has a decision to make, and everybody will progress based on the decision making and the learning that they have, you know. So there's that. So pretty much, you know, I've taken this half an hour or so, 20 minutes, whatever it is, just to remind everybody who decides that they're going to come and watch this video and actually sit here and make it this far, that I don't believe that anybody hears this stuff by accident. I don't believe that is a coincidence. I don't believe that anybody is in anyone's life for absolutely no particular reason. I believe that there is definitely a reason for your life and for your existence. Like, that is definitely something that I believe wholeheartedly is true. You know, everybody has their own existence, and they have their own reason for living, because everyone is designed for everybody else. You know, like, there's a reason why you're there. So don't ever get lost in that. But yeah, so, you know, that's the main takeaway from the morning, is that you have to understand that your life doesn't always just revolve around one person. As small as you think you are, you always make a big impact. You're making an impact in somebody's life. So just remember that as you move forward in your day. And embrace the challenge. You know, sometimes we like to fool ourselves and think that we are supposed to have some kind of easy life, but it's really not. Life comes with many difficulties, but it doesn't mean that you can't get through it. You know, so I encourage people to stay strong and to just do what they have to do, and do it in a way where they can do it in a way where you know that you're actually getting something out of life, that you're knowing what your purpose is, and that you are satisfied with, you know, what you accomplish. Because if you're not living under those kinds of precepts, then there might be something wrong. There might be some kind of self-examination that needs to happen in order to unlock your potential in your life. And that's all I intend to do with this stream. When I do just chatting like this, when I'm on the road, is I want to enrich as many people's lives as possible. So if you got anything from this before or after, let me know. Like, if there's something that spoke to you, let me know in the DMs. You know, let me know by giving me a view. You think that this might be something that can help somebody else? Don't be afraid to clip something and let somebody know, you know, where they can get this from, because I don't intend on just doing gaming videos anymore. As you've been seeing in the channel, I've been doing a lot of VR chat, and you know, I will continue to play my shooters because Halo is one of my favorite games, and I don't really do it for the views or for the growth, because I don't really have super high expectations, because I really don't feel like adding to my own anxiety about the way I need to perform on a platform. You know, like, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, then I'm not going to, like, you know, implode or anything. Because I believe that regardless of where I might be at in my streams, or where it might be at in my followers and stuff like that, that whatever I put out into the universe, I'm definitely going to get back one way, shape, or form. So, you know, I have faith that, you know, things will grow. Especially if what I'm saying has some kind of benefit. You know, I'm not some pretty girl to look at, but I might be able to give you something that has value. You know, and that's what I really want, is to impart onto people something that might have a little value, that will help benefit their lives and enrich their lives, and help them understand themselves and the people that are around them, you know, a little bit better, so we can just be better humans. Because That's what it's all about. It's about being a good human, you know, and improving upon everything that we are doing in our lives. So that's it. You know, be on the lookout for some, like I said, for some more VR chat. Me and my wife have a Discord going. If you're not aware of that, we have a nice community of people that we've kind of built up because, you know, we've spent a little bit of time on VR chat, kind of like advertising it and pushing it a little bit, and that has actually been a really good success. And yeah, so that's what we have looking forward to moving forward. Is we will be creating content through those avenues every once in a while in the morning time around 3 or 4 o'clock Eastern, like what you've just seen. There will be streams like this, and they will always be available for about 14 days after. So if you haven't seen it yet and you would like to see it, it'll be here. So that's that, you know, because I know that not everybody in the morning time, I know that not everybody likes to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning just for a stream. This is just something that I kind of do to pass the time because it helps me be able to practice my speech, and it helps me be able to get into learn how to get into a group. So when it comes to a big crowd of people, a big group of people, that I'll be able to speak naturally. So with that, I'd like to say have a good day, have a good night, have a good morning wherever you're at, whenever you are at. Remember, you are the one that is in control of your own destiny. Can't nobody do what you can do, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So with that, I give peace out. I love you guys, love and light, and make sure to check out the Discord, like, share, do all those things. And if this has provided any kind of value to you, or if it will provide any value to anyone else that you know, make sure you point them over here. Make sure you remind people to follow. Make sure you invite people to the Discord, and we can exchange names. We can have a good time at where we're at and what we're doing. So have a good one, everybody.